Awesome. Hey everyone, today is May 23rd, 2022. This is a meeting of the SIG Network Policy API subgroup to SIG Network. This is a CNCF certified meeting, so let's be nice and follow the rules and have a productive meeting today. So just a little recap, KubeCon was last week. So kind of the main action item for this group was just review and finishing up the admin network policy API. I can share my screen when I talk about this. And so not too much happened, but the updates should be good to go there, barring anything I missed. So that API, that PR is just looking for reviews. I also started updating the KEP in response to these API changes. Specifically, I only updated the sample YAMLs so folks could have a look at kind of what the API changes have done in terms of readability. On my to-do list is to make more sample YAMLs. These were just for the use cases we specified originally in the KEP. So it won't hurt to have more. So yeah, otherwise I don't have too much more to talk about today. Do folks have other things to bring up, discuss while we're here?
So I was going to bring up, I mentioned this to you on Slack. So I'm probably going to start a project to try to implement admin network policy in eBPF in a way that should be pluggable into, or ideally will be pluggable into any network plugin so that we can just put this out there and everybody can start trying out admin network policy right away. Catch being that I realized pass actually, or rather allow actually makes things complicated, because I've been thinking that there were only two possibilities. Either it allows the traffic through or it doesn't. But in fact, there are three possibilities. It either forcibly allows it, drops it, or passes it to network policy. So that complicates things, a little more than I was thinking, but I'll figure something out.
Yeah, and I mean, you should just be able to, in eBPF, pass the traffic to the kernel, right? It's like if the action is passed and you match, you just.
So the trick is that it has to happen in the right place, because policy has to happen after service proxying.
Right.
If we didn't have to deal with the three-way verdict, you could do it all on ingress into the VETH device.
Right.
But because you have to deal with forcible allow, you can't do that because the network, the regular level network policy might have already rejected it at that point. So you need to get part of it in before the plugin does its own network policy implementation. So that
yeah, makes sense.
But we'll figure it out.
Yeah, there's a lot to figure out, but that's definitely a cool project. Are you gonna kind of update your progress there with this group, or are you going to update it with the larger SIGNet? What's your plan?
Probably both. I guess, SIGNet, I'll mention it, but then I guess after that, it would mostly be with this group.
Great.
And if people are interested in helping, we're not really at the point where we've started. So I guess we don't really need help yet, but if people do want to help, then that will be cool. I don't know exactly where it's going to happen quite yet. I guess maybe we could put it in the
yeah, we could probably put it in our repo.
The network policy API repo, yeah.
Yeah, that would make the most sense.
So Dan, quick question. So is it going to be part of a CNI binary, or like how does it get deployed on a Kubernetes cluster?
So, this is what I was just saying about running into a problem with the three-way verdict. I had thought that we could provide it as two different ways. One, as an IP tables rule that you can call, because IP tables actually lets you call out to an eBPF program. So you could just have the network plugin insert a rule in the right place to call out to this eBPF program and do the right thing. And that's still possible. We'll just have to have two eBPF programs. One that returns true if it should be forcibly accepted, one that returns true if it should be forcibly dropped, and then if they both return false, you let it go through network policy. And then for plugins where packets don't go through network policy or don't go through IP tables, I have to figure out a new approach to deal with the force accept. But the idea is that it would be something that would not be difficult to install on top of your network plugin. It would not. I actually had been thinking before that I could do it as a chained CNI plugin, and I don't know if that is still going to work.
That's what, if you're having to attach programs to actual, vETH pairs, that's what I was thinking would make the most sense, because how else would you know
Right.
at what pair matches to what pod?
The problem being that just attaching to the vETH pair is
Right.
not enough.
Yeah,
It needs to go somewhere else. So it's possible that we won't be able to do this entirely independent, and it will be more just, we provide this 90% of an implementation, which CNI authors can then do the remaining 10%. And presumably some of them will eventually be like, no, I want to implement this all in IP tables rules or OVS flows or whatever. And that's fine. This would just be sort of to try and help people bootstrap quickly.
Right. Yeah. I mean, so if you have to put it in vETH, I think you have to be very particular, because there are other eBPF programs on the vETH pair. So
Right.
yeah,
I mean, obviously Cilium would not be able to just use this or Calico with their eBPF data plane would not be able to use this unmodified, but they could still take the code and compile it into their existing stuff potentially.
Yeah.
And it's day one. It's ideation stage, so I think there's still a long way to go. It's a cool idea though, and I think it would help spread awareness for AMP, as well, which is exciting for me.
Right. I mean, we did not have any implementation. I think any sort of implementation would be helpful for folks in the OSS.
Yep. Cool. Yeah. So next steps, please just go look at the API, give it a review. We're coming down to the home run of merging at least the first iteration to where we can start moving forward with it. So that's kind of where we're at. Otherwise, I don't think there's any other action items. Updating the KEP is one. I've started it, like I said, but if folks want to help out, they want to contribute a little bit here, feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to pass that baton. Been doing a lot of doc writing and API writing, so happy to give that to someone else if they're interested.
Yeah, I'll definitely take a look at the API changes PR. And you're saying that one was supposed to be updating the KEP, but only the API changes, right? So we probably needed something else to, maybe change the narratives in the KEP so that it corresponds to the API types a little bit more.
Yeah, I haven't had a ton of time, so I just got the sample.
That makes sense. Yeah.
In this one, and that's why I have it as a draft. I was gonna add to it for the rest of the stuff, but if you want to open a PR to do that, feel free.
Yeah, sure. I'll first take a look and see if I have time to add to it as well. Yeah, I think I should have some time this week to do that. So you can maybe assign me on that.
Yeah.
And on the other hand, I'm still struggling to find myself get past that check, because you were trying to assign me the thing. But I figured it might be because I'm already a member. But the thing is, I might have not opened a PR in that specific repo, which is merged. So essentially, I haven't quote unquote contributed to the repo, even though I opened a couple of PRs for the user stories. But essentially, at the end of the day, it got superseded by a huge PR. So I haven't really been merged any PRs to that project yet. That's probably why I cannot be a admin for that repo.
Yeah, just reach out to me on Slack. We can figure something out. You can
that shouldn't be hard. Yeah,
to a README or something, because we need another owner, and I think we do need to have the talk about possibly removing Abhishek. If I don't know, he hasn't been contributing in here in a long time. I know he switched companies. I don't know if he wants to be an owner of this anymore, but it might make sense to take him off, put you on.
Honestly, I don't think I think I talked to him. Honestly, I don't think he would have time to contribute to this anymore. So,
okay.
Can you folks reach me offline? I can help you with that, with the bureaucracy on this owner stuff and sponsorship and whatever.
Sounds good. Cool. and Yang's already he's a contributor for Kubernetes SIGs. I think he just didn't have a PR against this network policy API repo technically.
Is he up? Do you have membership? Yeah.
I do. I do.
Okay. Yeah. Reach me. We can figure out the bureaucracy on that. That's fine.
Cool. And so Yang, do you want to update your PR to also remove Abhishek and just tag him and ask him if this is all right? I mean, I obviously don't want to just rip him out, but
Oh yeah. Sure. Yeah, I can do that as well.
Move
Okay.
to emeritus, so at least it stays there and people doesn't be like properly remove it. I can help you on that as well, folks. That's fine.
yeah, and that kind of leads me to another kind of bureaucracy point, Ricardo. Abhishek actually owns the issue for the KEP and I guess the admin, the API PR. Is there a way to transfer ownership of that issue, or should I like ask him to do something like that? Because it's kind of tricky because I can't update the actual issue with like the PR for the API, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, I don't think in this case you can transfer.
Okay. Well, then we'll just get this API done and then we can close the issue and
Yeah.
move
I
forward.
mean, if you need to edit something in the issue, you can't. Just the owner of the issue and the owner of the repo.
Mhm.
You can retitle only, and if he gives you access to his own repo, you can change stuff, but you cannot change the issue description.
Okay. Sounds good. It's all good. It hasn't been a big problem. I just haven't been able to update the issue with like up-to-date information.
And finally, I think a question regarding the API itself. I know it's been a while, but I don't remember what was the final decision on whether we wanted to have a IP block for egress for this particular first version. Did we agree on not having that and still making the ACMP cluster in cluster scoped essentially?
So the final kind of idea, I think, yeah, Tim kind of put a comment. We basically, as of today, we're going to leave it as is.
Okay.
And then if maybe even pre-alpha, quote unquote, or early on in the API, look at adding it. But we just didn't want to add the complexity to this PR. I mean, we're already again at 200 comments and quite a while open. But yeah, we're tracking that in issue 28, which is also mentioned on the KEP PR as well, or sorry, on the API PR as well.
Gotcha. Thanks.
So we'll keep tracking it there because we don't want to close that discussion for sure. Great. Is there anything else folks would like to discuss today? Going once, going twice, sold. I'm really hoping by our next meeting to have this merged if there's no further discussion. So any help on that would be awesome. But yeah, that's where we're at. Thanks for stopping by today. Thanks for having a quick meeting and appreciate all y'all's help per usual. So have a good one. We'll talk to you later.
Thanks, Andrew. Bye.